Obviously from Western Australia, Point Lonsdale from Victoria, Umina from the Central Coast of New South Wales, Rainbow Bay A, their top crew from Queensland, Alexandra Headlands, nearest to camera, are the current and defending champions, and they're wearing a helmet designed for surfboard riding by the Gaff Company in Western Australia. They've decided they're going to wear them this summer. They started out in the Surf League. They've painted them up in their club cap colours. And this is quite an innovation for surfboat rowers, and particularly in these conditions. The hospital rang yesterday, said, can you cease racing the boats? We have run out of stitches. We have no more beds available. There were so many boaties that were injured yesterday. So the helmet's not a bad idea.
Yeah, well, Daryl, I mean, that's what the helmets are designed for, head protection in tough conditions. The thing where Alex have got, I think, a good start on the rest of the field in that they've been there and they've done that before. And when you get to this standard, this level, physically, they're all about the same. Mentally is the difference.
Well, we've waited a long time to get boats in a big sea. We had them in Newcastle in the Surf League this year. By the time we've got to the boats today, the sea's dropped considerably. But let me tell you, what they have fought over the last 3 or 4 days here has been absolutely unbelievable. Still a long break, still that bank, you can see the rock and the sand all sucking up there. So still pretty difficult conditions, and the wind doesn't help either, because those big blades on the end of the oars, they can really get blown about when you're pulling through the air there. When you take your backstroke, they can really get blown about and tip the boat around a bit. So the wind will have a big bearing on this. Away we go, Umina Beach. A great effort from them to get this far. Semi-final #1. Alexandra Headlands, defending champions, heading out to sea now. Wouldn't they love to put them back to back? Now there's the sets of waves coming through. A long way before the boats get there. They're into the shore break area now. But this is where the wild ride starts to run now. And you're looking at Umina, the sweep there, Wayne Dixon. Formerly a lot of these rowers with Ocean Beach on the Central Coast. They went over to the Umina club, and they've been pretty strong competitors. They've got good new gear, and they've been reasonably competitive right throughout. But they've done a great job to get here, as every crew has done, to make it through the seas they've had to battle.
In these sort of conditions, as we watch Alex, the reigning Australian champions, the sweep is your eyes and ears. And in these conditions, when it's this tough, as little words as possible, just encouragement. Tell them where they're at, tell them what's coming, and most importantly, Daryl, keep the boat dry. Jamie
McKinless, the sweep here for Alexandra Headlands. There's the break. He puts his hand up there. Now he's talking to them. He knows where it is. Now there's a ski paddle in front of the double ski. They want to get out of the way from there, I'll give you the tip. They'll headbutt that. That'll get right out of the way. Up they go as they ride over.
McKinless has stopped. He's just waiting for this wave to come. With these, you've got to punch at them, because if you don't take them on, they'll take you on, and you'll always lose. Again, waiting, let it bounce, a couple of strokes, away you go.
Now look at the way this will suck up on the bank. This will give you an idea. See this wave here now? It'll suck all the sand up on the bank. The waves are not as high as they were. They're not as thick as they were, but there's still a lot of power. So the sweeper's got no choice but to sit there and hope that the ocean's going to open up, and it's about to do that now. It's about to do that now. McKinless says time to go. Umina go with him. Here they come. There's a big set coming. They've taken a punt. The first two are going to get through this, I would think. The big set's starting to build up. Oh, there's a big one up behind this. Will this nail them? Look at this, going to stand up. They'll need to go now. He'll be saying, give me plenty now. Up the face of it. Remember, these boats are 26 foot long, rowing up the face of this as they bounce over the first one. They're going to get out. They're okay. But the crews behind are going to take a battering out of this. McKinless sneaks over a big one. So does Umina, but look at this, back in the beach. That's where you've got to attack. You've got to attack the ocean when you can.
Dead right in these conditions. It's Alex out clean and dry because they took it on. It also helped a bit with a bit of luck. They were in the right place, right time. It's a good end to be at. Now it's far from over. I mean, the race is only a quarter of the way over. They've got to get back again, clean and dry. McKinless, though, as I said before, they've been there, they've done that, and he's got to keep them cool.
Now the rest of the crews just sit there. They can't move. They don't know where to go. Devonport and Tassie, North Cottesloe, that's the West Australians in the black and white striped tops there. They were very strong here last year too, so they've obviously got some depth. Now you see McKinless is going back over those quarter bars. He's giving himself some support with the legs there, because this wind's going to blow the boats around. He's got to try and keep as much trim as he can. Watch the style of these guys. Watch the white water come off the end of the blades, the wind I'm talking about. It can blow you off, you can. Look at it, it's a raging. Oh, up we go again. Back inside, they're still getting smashed around. Back inside, and there's more to come. When the opening comes, you've got to go hard. Remember, though, the other crews have still got to get in. But they're almost at the turning can now. Alexandra Headland, they'll turn first. Here they go round now. Watch them go. 1, 2, and nearly tipped over there. McKinless took the blade right out of the water, but it was a good turn. They got round nice and clean. Now they start to head home. They'll come home on the runs, and they'll come home against the wind. The wind will blow him off the mark, so he'll have lined himself up on the beach well and truly.
This is on the way home. Again, they managed to get out clean and dry on their way home. Alex, reigning Australian champions. The race in this now is obviously these guys have got to make it back, but there are 4 crews on the way out going for what is one spot.
Martin Fletcher now drives Rainbow Bay A crew on, the Queenslanders. There they are. Look at that shot. There's the 2 sweeps. Look at the different styles. McKinless relaxed. He's got a lot of sweep oar in his hands there. And look at the other guy, Fletcher. He's right at the end of his blade. Now watch him now here, because they're bending down and running with the boat. McKinless has a look behind him. Now Fletcher does exactly the same thing. Side by side. This is a semi, remember. But what they've got to do now is pick the right wave. You've got to take the one that's comfortable. They're not standing up like they were in the deep water before, so you can get yourself in a lot of trouble if you take the wrong way. Look at that wind howling across the top of the ocean and really creating the whitecaps there. McKinless looks behind him now. Martin Fletcher, he's driving Rainbow Bay down the face of one. Here they go now, Rainbow Bay. They go down, they're up and goes. He's on the chocks. They'll come back and trail off. Now what they're doing is taking the weight out of the bow of the boat. They're letting the boat settle down. Now he calls the bowman back. Now he calls him back again, and that's the reason why. That's the reason why he called him back. The bow was going to get buried, and they've done the big 360 barrel roll.
And Jamie McKinless waited. Now, again, Australian champion. The reason he waited was he didn't want to take any risk. There's a big one swelling up behind him, but he's well in front. The other crews are out. These guys have got major problems because the other 4 are out and on their way home soon.
Now, you saw what he was doing there. He called the crew back. Now, the same thing's going to happen here with McKinless. Watch him as he comes down here. He'll call them to the back of the boat. But because he dropped on the second part of the boat, he had to put the bowman up to make it run down. Then it ran down the face. This is a nice way to do it. All the crew packed back at his feet now. That's lift the bow out. McKinless working hard. Watch him straining. The stroke gives him a hand. Put some weight on the blade now. Beautifully done from the champs here now, though, as they come in there. Look at McKinless. He's pulling and pushing. There's a lot of weight in his hand there now. Wonderful exhibition of sweeping. Beautifully done by the crew. They all came back up the centre of the boat, kept it nice and balanced, and look at the strain on his face as he fights that boat to bring it in straight. The stroke's giving him as much weight as he can to help him as he swings it around again. Alexandra Headlands will go into the final now. He really straightens the boat up, and that's a marvellous piece of sweeping. Beautiful seamanship there from Alexandra Headlands. Now, here we go back to Rainbow Bay. Remember what happened to them. I mean, it was just bad luck. He could see, oh, and he gets thrown around again. That rower's had a fair ride, I'll give you the tip. But when the bow went the second time, it just took the drop, and he tried to get the bowman back, and they couldn't do it. And, of course, it buried itself and did the big 360. Here come the rest now. So positions are still up for grabs. That's
right. I mean, so far we've got McKinless there in, Alex is in. There are still 2 positions available in the final. The Rainbow guys have got across the line. 3 oars, 3 crewmen.
Port Lonsdale now, they were quite a force in boat racing some years ago, but here they come now. It's going to be a late takeoff. Look at the sweep, having a look at it. This is Steve Blewett. Looks up, he gets up on the chocks, have a look at the legs, look at it bury itself down again. You see, people say, why does the boat do that? You've got to have some deep water underneath it. Once it starts to swing around, it's very difficult to straighten it up. He should be safe from there. Big waves coming, but they're all in the safe zone, I would think now. What you got to do, though, is keep the boat moving. As soon as the white water comes to you, you trail them off and get them back outside. Outside, big wave. Big wave outside. Oh, sideways down the face of that. I think that might have been your minor. And they came down a big one outside. And could be collision time. Oh, up they ride, and that's how you can get hurt. And I tell you, yesterday, the hospital honestly rang up the beach and said, no more. Call them off. We can't take any more casualties. Look at these boats getting tossed around like corks, and they are big craft.
They are big craft, fully rigged and crewed, 700 kilos. Now, there's two. I think there's probably now three across the line. But again, the question is, did Rainbow cross with 3 crewmen, 3 oars? That's yet to be answered.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they did there, but look at this, even on the shore break. You know, all this is, it's just a matter of if you can get them back early enough. You're right, here's another collision coming up. Watch these oars. The boaties flicks them away and says, get that thing out of my ear. Oh, they don't rust, these blokes.
Don't you love shipping and transport?
I love them. Okay, there we are. Carnage on the beach. They all lift their hands up. Who's got through? But that's the first of the semis over.